It's upset. It's done. It's done. The system needs to be fixed.
Then the police are going to act all whacked out and are going to mess with people. It's going to make it only worse.
It's sad. It's depressing. 2 men in the week. 2 black men. It's just...
When you heard from their mothers, what went through your mind thinking about your son?
I just think that it could happen to anyone. It doesn't matter. Educated, not educated, from the hood.
Notice they're saying, please don't kill me for being black today. Okay, 258 people. That's not good. That's total, not just unjustified shooting. Total. Okay, let's say it's a problem.
Fighting for my people.
This woman could care less, though, that half the black people are aborted.
Brothers and sisters are dying out here in these streets, and this is not...
These are just young, dumb people brainwashed by the media.
Protecting us on these streets are killing us.
And now the police will be totally scared of everybody. It's going to get worse. And then we have the bang, bang, oink, oink. Can we cue that up? And, of course, we have a flashback on Infowars.com. New Black Panther Party marches through Austin, Texas at South by Southwest. So here's some of that.
Bacon, fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon.
Marching down the avenue. 20 more pigs and we'll be through. 20 more pigs and we'll be through.
A pig is a pig, that's what I said. Only a pig is a pig, that's it.
Yeah. A pig is a pig, that's what I said.
Only a pig is a pig, that's it. Oink, oink, bang, bang.
We'll be back. Oink, oink, bang, bang. I mean, this is all George Soros funded. Just absolute, total idiocy. We'll be back second hour. Stay with us. Kari Jackson from Dallas is going to pop in about 5 minutes from now. Then I'm going to take some of your phone calls. The toll-free number to join us, especially if you're a police officer or if you are in Dallas and witnessed any of this, or if you're a Black Lives Matter Trigglypuff, social justice warrior, whatever, communist. I mean, if you know how to dial a phone, I'm not kidding. These people are really dumb. We'd like to hear from you. Can we cue up the bang, bang, you're dead, oink, oink, you're dead stuff from Austin that we shot last year? And imagine you got a bunch of drunk people at South by Southwest standing around who are about as racist as a rock on the ground, with people just marching around with guns, not to exercise the Second Amendment, but to say we're going to kill cops. As if doing that makes the police scared of you in the way you think. They just don't go into your neighborhood now, and criminals can run around and do whatever you want. And I'm telling you, you look at the new Black Panther Party people in this video, if you're a TV viewer or radio listener, you can go to Infowars.com/show. I don't know what it is about Klan rallies I've covered or these racist black rallies, but I mean, these people look, whether they're white or black, they have this same, just dumber than a dog look in their eyes. I mean, they are just so stupid. And we ought to compare them to Klan rallies, because I'm telling you, the only people, I don't know what it is, they all have the same slack, dumb, just look at these people. Look at these people. Look at these guys. Just look how dumb that guy on the end looks right there. Just totally stupid. And they all have, I mean, look at this moron. Just randomly, let's kill the police. Look at this guy. This guy.
Bang, bang. Fuck the pigs and everybody fuck with them. Fuck the pigs.
We got to fade some of that down. I'm sorry. There's some cussing in here. We'll delete that. I forgot this is a raw tape. I guess we can't play it. There's so much. Bang, bang, you're dead. You know, kill the pigs. All this is going to do is get the police more militarized and more out of control. And all this is going to do is create more division in this country. But you see, to idiots, they don't know that. They really think that this is helping because they see Obama and they see Google and they see Jesse Jackson and they see Hillary, everybody catering to this and saying, yes, you're right. It's a terrible thing. You are the epitome of what's good in this country because 258 black people were shot by police in 2015. And 2,000 people were shot in Chicago, 90+% black, and more die every year in Chicago, black-on-black shootings, than die total from police. But again, it's okay because a black person did it. And they don't have all the numbers, but something like 35%, I saw the number on CNN, who knows if it's true, years ago, of the shootings on average are black on black with police. So you're talking about 100 and something of white or other officers shooting black people. I mean, it's super rare, folks. But out of 330 million people, you can get one sometimes in the summer every couple of days, you know, when crime isn't up or whatever in the winter or whatever. Maybe you have to wait a week or so to have one to use and hype up and inline. And look, I'll be completely honest. I don't like corrupt authority. I'm a fighter. And so I've been arrested at demonstrations by police that were wrong. I've run into thug cops. I've had a jail guard, a redhead jail guard, run my head in the wall once. For no reason. And I don't like seeing the globalists use the police to carry out their operations. And I've written books and made films called Police State 2000. 9/11 Descent into Tyranny. But, again, this is a globalist plan to bring the country down. So I'm absolutely, totally against it. Because I'm going to play a bunch of clips. Go to Jakari, go to your phone calls, break down the latest on what's happened. But here's the bottom line. They are successfully kicking off a civil war in this country ahead of the election. Major banks are on the verge of imploding. This is an incredible time to be alive right now. I've been predicting for at least 4 years that they would try to launch some type of civil war based on kind of a communist / Black Lives Matter movement, funded by George Soros, funded by multinationals. George Soros has overthrown Ukraine, starting with anti-police demonstrations, playing Catholic off against Orthodox. They'll just take any groups they can with the sociology and do this. They did it in Egypt, starting with anti-police demonstrations, and overthrew our allies. Remember that. They did that in other areas as well. Soros admits he's doing it. He spent hundreds of millions on this, $35 million alone, launching it. The Justice Department got caught running the Trayvon Martin demonstrations. Does that mean there aren't problems with the police? Absolutely. Do we cover it? We're on the cutting edge of that. To reform police. But if a cop shoots somebody wrong in Minnesota or in Louisiana this week, do you randomly go to Dallas and then injure 15 cops and kill 5 and then shoot some of the Black Lives Matter demonstrators that are out there? This is crazy until you realize Obama has doubled black unemployment, at least the globalist policies have. All they have is this division. This is their program. And Obama has come out in the latest shooting, here's Politico, we played the clip last hour, and says U.S. police must reform. Wow, as if the Dallas cops reformed, this wouldn't have happened, even though they got a black police chief and most of their leadership's black. Even though Dallas is like 60% black. I mean, that's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. And I grew up in Dallas, and the Dallas cops do a pretty good job overall. The point is that this is crazy. And now we've got Jesse Jackson blaming Trump, everybody else. This is totally organized. You have this black nationalist, quote, political movement that's taken responsibility. And it's the first time we've had a robot by the police used to kill the supposed ringleader, Micah X. Johnson, who was an Army soldier. And you've got people all over Twitter and all over Facebook, sick. Black Lives Matter supporters celebrate murder of Dallas cops. You have Google coming out saying, we must have justice. So not saying this is horrible. No, justice will fix this. 258 black people killed by police in 2015. We got the numbers. 2,000, 90+% black in Chicago shot last year. Over 500. You don't even hear that, do you? You got Chicago, double the number of black people killed. But you don't hear about it because it's a Democrat-run anti-gun city. And they're going to blame the Second Amendment. They're going to try to bring in this whole crisis culture where they federalize the police and globalize the police. And then they'll call off these groups of useful idiots that are being stirred up. This is mind control, where the media hypes people into believing this is the ultimate story. Jakari Jackson got up, I guess at like midnight last night, I'm told. They drove out. They were there at about 4 a.m. in Dallas. But Joe Jennings will say, great job getting that done. And he's now just a block away from where the mass shooting happened. And folks, I'm telling you, I just hope there aren't more of these, but just with the ISIS groups and the rest of it, I suspect we're going to see a lot more of this. Jakari Jackson, I know you've talked to some eyewitnesses. That's coming up. But I got to tell you, we're not tooting our horn here. We're just warning people, showing we know what we're talking about. How much have we predicted this? How much have we covered this? How many of these demonstrations have you personally been to and been tear gassed and rubber bulleted with Joe Biggs? I mean, you can really see the media beating the drums into the election, trying to make this the issue. I mean, Obama giving a speech yesterday on this, and then groups calling for killing of police. What is your take on this, Jakari?
I mean, absolutely, we know that violence towards any group is definitely an issue in this country, whether it's police on the citizenry or the citizenry on the police, or as you pointed out, all the black people in Chicago. You know, it's become somewhat of a misnomer. It's just something that you come to expect in Chicago, that every 4th of July, a large amount of people will get shot. I think this year was 60 some odd people over the 4th of July weekend, and it's just become somewhat of a regular thing. But as you pointed out, those issues in Chicago don't get as much attention as when police shoot somebody. And it's not just when they shoot black people, but when you think about somebody like Kelly Thomas in California, a white man who was beaten to death over the course of 20 minutes on video, if I recall, no indictments. You know, people were outraged about that. But they say that you're only supposed to get mad if it's a black person who is beaten or shot by the police in some very unnecessary type of way. And as we're out here right now, Alex, you can see it's a very calm scene, heavy police presence. If you look all the way around, there are cops on pretty much every street corner. That red brick building behind me, that is the structure, the parking garage where the shooting came from last night. And we had a chance to speak to a young lady who was out here last night. She was walking in the demonstration. She went to the nearby McDonald's to get some food, and she said the shots rang out. She said she got down on the ground. Officers came up to her like, get out of here, get out of here. She said she heard at least 30 rounds fired before she fled. She's awfully traumatized, and she said she's actually kind of stuck out here because she can't get her car back because they have most of the area blocked off out here. And as you look down the streets, you see a light civilian, but heavy police. And, you know, everybody's on high alert. We talked to some guys, other guys who said they can't get their cars out of here because the police lockdown. We try to get down to the press staging area, which last night we were able to get to, but tonight this morning, we were not able to get in that area. They said, well, we had to cap it. We didn't want a bunch of people walking around out there as they're still conducting active investigation. We saw the feds out here a little bit ago taking pictures. Somebody even told us they were still picking up shell casings. So this is still an ongoing and active crime scene here in Dallas.
I know you've been working, but have you had a chance to see all the dramatic footage of this guy ducking behind columns and then going around and shooting the cops? I mean, definitely he had a lot of military training. You can't blame the military training for it. You have to blame the mental illness or whatever, you know, that triggered this in these folks. But separate from that, Jakari, we know Soros is financing this. We know they used anti-police demonstrations in Ukraine to start the revolution there. What is your view overall of that? Because it seems to be going into high gear.
When you talk about Soros, whether it's here or I should say more particularly when you talk about some place like Ferguson, where they were paying demonstrators to go out there to yell, to, you know, get rowdy and all this, and then the demonstrators complain on Twitter when they didn't get their check. I didn't get my check to go out there and yell at the cops this week. It's completely absurd, and it just foments this type of racism, not just against the police, but against whites in general. Because if you recall, the words of, Micah X. Johnson, I believe, was the suspect they got last night. They shot him with a police robot. He said it was reported that he hated whites, that he wanted to inflict violence on the police. And as you were pointing out earlier, yes, we do see police injustice going on around the country, but that doesn't make it right to go out here and shoot just random guys who happen to be walking down the street. That's
exactly. Let's say hypothetically, one of my kids, God forbid this ever happens, a bad cop on video kills one of my kids in cold blood and then doesn't get in trouble. I'll be honest with you. I would probably do something. That's the kind of guy I am. Why don't these people then, if they think a cop's so bad, go after that cop themselves? I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying, why randomly 1,000 miles from Minnesota, because a cops may have done something bad, just go shoot a bunch of cops? I mean, I just can't imagine projecting onto them when departments are so different, people are so different. How do you just randomly say, there's cops 50 yards away, they're to blame, I'm going to kill them?
Well, once again, why Dallas was selected, I'm not exactly sure, but I did read something that was very interesting a couple of weeks ago. They're talking about the mass exodus of Dallas police officers. They said in May alone, 40 people left the department. So I'm not sure if the understaffing or the decreased staffing had anything to do with why Dallas